Muli tayong nagbabalik dito sa Tinig ng Bayan para sa isang mahalagang pag-uulat tungkol sa nagpapatuloy na usapin ng impeachment sa ating bansa. Nitong mga nakaraang araw, uminit ang diskusyon matapos questionin ng ilang mga legal experts ang prosesong isinasagawa sa mababang kapulungan ng Kongreso. Ayon sa mga dalubhasa sa batas, tila may mga hakbang na ginagawa ang ilang mambabatas na posibleng lumalagpas na sa itinakda ng ating saligang batas. Isa sa mga pangunahing puntong inilabas ay ang usapin ng tinatawag na mini-trial. Binigyang diin ng mga abogado na sa ilalim ng ating konstitusyon, ang Senado lamang ang may tanging kapangyarihan na duminig at maglitis sa mga kaso ng impeachment. Ang tungkulin lamang umano ng Kamara ay alamin kung may sapat na basehan ng reklamo bago ito iakyat sa mas mataas na antas. Dahil dito, dinala na ang usapin sa Korte Suprema upang hilingin ang paglalabas ng isang Temporary Restraining Order o TRO. Ang layunin ng petisyong ito ay ipatigil muna ang mga pagdinig sa Kongreso habang sinusuri kung ang mga ginagawang hakbang tulad ng pag-issue ng mga sabina ay naaayon pa ba sa tamang proseso. Ayon sa mga kritiko ng impeachment, ang paghahanap pa lamang ng ebidensya habang nagpapatuloy ang pagdinig ay tila isang paraan ng pangingisda ng impormasyon na hindi dapat pinapayagan kung sa simula pa lang ay kulang na ang basehan ng reklamo. Bukod sa aspetong legal, binigyang diin din na ang bawat botanteng Pilipino ay apektado sa usaping ito. Dahil ang vice-presidente ay hinalal ng milyong-milyong mamamayan, ang anumang tangkang pag-alis sa kanya sa pwesto sa pamamagitan ng questionabling proseso ay maituturing na direktang pagbaliwala sa boses at soberanya ng taong bayan. Bilang inyong tinig ng bayan, ang ating layunin ay ilatag ang mga kaganapang ito upang tayo ay maging mulat sa takbo ng ating pamahalaan. Sa gitna ng mga hamon sa ating ekonomiya at ang patuloy na pagtaas ng presyo ng mga bilihin at langis, mahalagang matiyak na ang ating mga mambabatas ay nakatutok sa mga tunay na pangangailangan ng bansa sa halip na mapunta ang oras sa mga prosesong kinukwestiyon ang legalidad. Ang Korte Suprema na ang siyang magbibigay ng huling pasya kung ang mga hakbang na ito ay para ba sa hustisya o bahagi lamang ng mas malalim na usaping politikal. Patuloy nating babantayan ang bawat yugto ng usaping ito para sa inyo, mga katinig. Kaya naman, ano ang inyong saloobin sa usaping ito? Sang-ayon ba kayo na dapat munang dumaan sa masusing pagsusuri ng Korte Suprema ang proseso ng impeachment para matiyak na nasusunod ang ating batas? Ibahagi ang inyong mga komento sa ibaba. Huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe at i-click ang notification bell para lagi kayong updated dito sa ating channel. Maraming salamat sa inyong patuloy na pagtitiwala. Hanggang sa muli, ito ang inyong tinig ng bayan.
Efficiency sa complaints. That renders the entire proceedings null and void. Kaya I agree with legal luminaries that this should be brought before the Supreme Court on a petition for certiorari with temporary restraining order. Because the rights of the accused in this case, Vice President Sara Duterte, is being violated as we speak. Grabe ang grave abuse of discretion dito. In Bautista, in Sereno, and in Corona, hindi namin nakita ito. Imagine mo, isusupina nila ngayon ang mga bangko. Walang ganun. Only the Senate can do that. So that's another void action on the part of the House of Representatives. So I would like to point that out, not because our dear Vice President ay malapit sa puso namin. We are duty-bound as citizens to protect the office of the Vice President, which is being violated ngayon ng House of Representatives who are more concerned with the impeachment than addressing the emergency economic situation that we are facing. Maraming salamat.
Marami pong salamat, mga kababayan, sa ating members of the media and of course the social media. Very simple lang ang sasabihin ko rito. They've always been saying that impeachment is a political, endeavor, political process. Kaya the height of politics is present in the House of Representatives, sa Committee on Justice. I mean, wala na tayong pag-uusapan. Doon pa lang sa determination of form and substance. Pinakita na nila yung politika. 54 versus 1. Oh, itong si Rufus Rodriguez, kunyari, dito, hindi niya alam kung saan siya kapapanig, sa kaliwa ba o sa kanan. Pero bumoto pa rin doon sa substance. Oh. So, dinadrama nila ang taong bayan. Alam naman natin kung saan hahantong ito lahat. Oh. In fact, gustong-gusto nila talaga na magkaroon ng trial sa Senate, pero ito lahat palabas. Palabas lang ito. Tulad nitong pangit na chairman. Gusto niyang maging maganda sa mga media. Kaya panay press release niya sa mga mali-mali niyang sinasabi. Enhancing the political process to persuade the people in their favor. Kung gusto nila noon na 1/3 ay minamadali nila, bakit hindi na nila madaliin ngayon? Magboto na sila. Bakit pa nila gagamitin ang BP para sa kanilang sarsuela? Alam naman natin, sarsuela lahat ito. Wala silang ebidensya, mangangalap pa. When you file a case, if it's a criminal or a civil, you file a case in a criminal doon sa fiscal, pagdating doon sa complaint mo, nakalatag na lahat na ebidensya. Hindi ka na pwedeng, tika-tika fiscal, isupina mo muna ito kasi wala kaming naka-attach ditong ebidensya sa sinasabi namin. Pwede ba yung ganun? Supina mo pa. The fiscal, which is akin. Sabi ni Jimmy, yung fiscal, kung anong trabaho ng fiscal, ganun din ang trabaho ng House Committee on Justice. They only determine probable cause. Pero if you're conducting a trial, you're already making a judgment. You're usurping the powers of the Senate. Di ba? Ano pang gagawin ng Senado kung pinrejudge mo na dito by making a mini trial, kunyari, pero actually, you're already making a full-blown trial under the guise of a mini trial. Well, the Constitution did not use the word try for the House of Representatives. It only says initiate. And initiate means to say, i-determine mo lang, tapos kung mayroon kayong prima facie or probable, magbutuhan sa plenary. If you get 1/3, then let the Senate decide and try the case. Ito, inuusig nyo na si Vice President using several stupid arguments from stupid people na hindi man lang mga abogado. Paano na ang taong bayan? Tapos, gumagas na sila, nagpupunta sa Bali, mag-birthday celebration, hindi natin alam yung mga under the table dyan. So, ito lahat po ay pamulitika. Kaya, baloney, yung House, talagang alam na natin ang ang kanilang boto. Mayroon diyang iba, kunyari, isang partido, isang ganito, kunyari, pahaging-pahaging pa. Sabi nga nung isang businessman na kausap ko, nagpapalapad lang ng papel yan para baka hindi pa nabigyan. So, ganito po lahat yan. Politika ang nagtulak nitong Committee on Justice. Gusto nilang gamitin for their propaganda, and they're hiring even dean of law schools to talk in their behalf to justify their sarsuela na mini trial. Mayroon isang bobo dyan na din na sinipa ng kanyang law school, daldal ng daldal, ang daming din na sinasabi. Katulad ito ng mga iba pang mga abogado dyan na alam naman natin, mali yung sinasabi nila, but hindi natin alam kung anong nasa likod ng kanilang mga sinasabi. So, ang bottom line para sa akin, mga kababayan, I've been a member of the House. There were 3 impeachment process that I've gone through. First, yung kay Chief Justice Davide. Yung kay Chief Justice Davide, we achieved 1/3, pero hindi dinanggap ng Senado. Hindi in-endorse ni Speaker De Venecia. So, talagang pamulitika. Yung kay kay Bautista, pinatay na nila doon pa sa committee. Wala daw form, walang substance, pero na-overall ng plenary. So, ito lahat, it's politics. Kung may order ang speaker, may order ang majority floor leader, lahat yan, lahat yung mga miyembro dyan ng Committee on Justice. It's already been revealed by a Congressman Erice. It's been revealed by Toby Chanco na pamulitika lahat ito. Kaya, ito sa inyo, lahat dyan ng mga congressman. Ito sa lahat dyan ng mga congressman. Kayo dapat ang imbestigahan base doon sa 18 Marines kung ilan ang maleta na tinanggap nyo. Umamin na nga yung isang babae. Umamin na nakatanggap siya ng maleta. Pero hindi niya sinabi kung magkano natanggap ng tatay niya. Yan po. This is purely political. Pero the people of this country is still hoping that the Senate will give justice to the impeachment process. Kaya takot na takot sila sa Senado because hindi nila alam kung anong decision. Pero for me, it's already, if it's forgone in the House na ma-impeach si Sara Duterte, it's forgone in the Senate na wala silang makukuhang boto to convict her. And that is my, crystal ball saying. Okay? Thank you.
With due apologies.
Mr. President, may ilaw.
Kaya ayoko ng wireless eh. Anyway, with all due apologies to my boss, may sisingit lang po ako another party matter. Noon pong August, this is totally unrelated, noon pong August nagkaroon ng hearing yung committee ni Senator Robin Padilla, Committee on Communications and Media, on the sexual harassment sa mga studios, where I appeared as one of the resource persons. At further to that, I wrote a letter to follow up the results of what happened in that. And I would like to distribute to you the letter to Senator Padilla, who is a member, by the way, of the Partido Democratico Pilipino, Joey. This is in relation to the amendments to the law on sexual harassment, where I testified regarding the two cases that I've handled for GMA7, yung studio ni Manong Rod, on sexual harassment. And nasabi naman doon, in view of the recent resurgence of the revelations against Arnold Clavio, yung kay Sara Balabagan, there is a need to come out with those amendments to the law on sexual harassment. Ito po yung letter. Basically, tapos na po ito, ang sabi ko lang, i-amend nyo yung law on sexual harassment to the effect that those who cover up these acts of sexual harassment should be made as guilty as the principals. Oo. Joey, i-distribute mo na lang. Oo. Oo. Baka makalimutan ko eh. Oo. Para meron na sila. Kasi nga, although I clarified na alam kong walang kinalaman ang mga goson dyan. They are very godly, religious people and they will not allow it. Eh, yung mga subalterns po nila, yung mga nasa baba ang nagko-cover up. So, yun po, binalita ko lang as a follow-up to another member of the party, si Senator Robin Padilla, who really wants to amend the law para mawala na niyang mga sexual harassment na yan, yung kay Gerald Santos and others na na-cover up. With that, I would like to turn over the floor to my among tunay, Attorney Raul Lambino. Sorry for the interruption.
The rule about being a more supreme or better is mas magaling talaga yung estudyante. Okay. Well, first and foremost, I would like to greet everyone ng magandang umaga ng Huwebes ngayon, Kahit na mataas masyado na yung langis, at baka mawalan na tayo ng supply. At tinanong ako ni MJ kanina nung pagpasok ko rito, bakit daw green na naman yung aking kulay ng damit? Favorite na color ko yan kasi it signifies two things. One, pro-life. Green is the color of life. Makikita mo yung environment natin, dahon, green yan. It also symbolizes wealth. Kasi green box yan. Kaya ako ay pro-USA. Dahil sa nangyayari ngayong kaguluhan dyan sa Middle East, mag-uusap na raw yung Philippine government at saka Chinese government for possible joint exploration in West Philippine Sea. At most likely, baka magkaroon na rin ng joint fishing expedition sa West Philippine Sea. So, tanggalin natin yung fishing expedition dyan sa house. Dalangin na natin doon sa West Philippine Sea doon. Yung fishing expedition sa West Philippine Sea will be legal and legitimate. Ngayon, bakit ako pro-USA? USA. United Sara ako. Yan ang ibig sabihin. Well, anyway, meron bang karapatan ang ordinaryong mamamayang katulad ko o katulad natin dito sa nangyayaring impeachment proceedings ngayon sa House of Representatives? Are we a party in interest here o si VP Sara lang? Well, two things you have to remember. There are two kinds of impeachable officials. One group are the elected officials, president and vice president. The others are appointed officials, justices of the Supreme Court, ombudsman. Yan yung mga impeachable Constitutional Commission, COA, etc. Lahat yan appointees. But if you are talking of the president and the vice president, all of us here are on trial. So we are a party in interest here because our being a sovereign people, nakalagay sa Constitution yan eh. O doon pa lang sa preamble, we the sovereign Filipino people. So how do you define being a sovereign Filipino people? Then you go to Article 2, Section 1. Sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. What's the manifestation of sovereignty? Then that is election. Election. That's why we are called the representative democracy. So whether you voted for Sara Duterte last election or Bongbong Marcos, then you are a party in interest here. Because if Sara Duterte is impeached and eventually convicted, she will be removed from office. Then we are deprived of our right, being sovereign people, of having elected her to be our vice president. That's why we are here. I am here not just because I am a lawyer who understands a little bit about law. I am here sitting here in front of you para ipaliwanag yung karapatan nating mga ordinaryong mamamayang Pilipino na pag ang tinatanggal o ni-impeach natin ay presidente, vice-presidente, we have the sovereign right that will be affected by the outcome of these proceedings. Kaya, alam po, yung kanilang ginagawa ngayon sa House of Representatives, hinahayaan ko, ako'y natutuwa. Sa totoo lang, yung kanilang pinaggagawa ngayon dyan sa House of Representatives, which is a blatant violation of the provisions of the Constitution as stated by Attorney Bondok a while ago, on Article 11, more particularly Section 3, and Article 3, which is the Bill of Rights. So, meaning, we have a possible actionable suit that we can file before the Supreme Court for the House of Representatives abusing its authority, resulting into lack of jurisdiction of what they are doing, and an unconstitutional act. So, any one of us here can file the corresponding petition before the Supreme Court to question the actions of the House of Representatives. And we are a proper party in interest. Meron tayong personality to file the necessary action. I have been in Congress for so many years. I was there in 1987. I saw the impeachment of Erap there. I was involved in somehow. I was also involved in the impeachment of then Chief Justice Davide as consultant of the Office of the Speaker, give advice to the leaders of the House of what to do. Sumunod po dyan yung impeachment ni GMA, ilang beses po yung may final dyan. Then the impeachment of Merceditas Gutierrez, impeachment of Andres Bautista, and Sereno. All these impeachment cases that were filed in the House, I was able to be part in whatever capacities. No? Ngayon, going back to the integrity of these impeachment proceedings, tama yung sinabi. Only the Senate has the sole power to try and decide cases of impeachment. When you say try or trial, there is no distinction of maxi trial or mini trial. Basta trial yan. Yung mini skirt lang yan. Magandang panuturin yan. Pero, there's no such thing as mini trial. Saan sila naka-invento ng ganon? Now, if they are going to, again, define what they are doing as, well, it is akin. Ayan, yung salita akin yan, akin. Okay. Similar to a preliminary investigation before the office of the prosecutor. Or maybe we can say inquest proceedings. Kasi kami mga trial lawyers, dinaanan namin yan. So summary lang talaga ang pinag-uusapan doon. Whether it's an inquest proceedings or preliminary investigation before the office of the prosecutor, then the only things to be considered by the prosecutor would be what? The complaint affidavits. And the affidavits of the witnesses if there are any. And the counter-affidavit of the defendant or respondent or the real pieces of evidence that have been recovered. And if these are sufficient, then they will file the corresponding information in court. Iyon lang ang gagawin. Hindi pwedeng magkaroon ka ng tawagin ng piskal kung sino-sino yung mga wala naman silang participation that they have not filed any document in form of affidavit. Because that is fishing expedition na yon. Fishing expedition yon. Yung ginagawa nila ngayon, okay, dapat pagbasihan lamang nila. They have already determined yung substance is there. Compliant daw. So, compliant ba yung complaint? Compliant ba doon sa mga attached affidavits? Ngayon, kung meron silang clarificatory hearing, ang tawag ko dyan, hindi trial. They have to clarify those provisions or those allegations in the affidavits that were filed by those potential witnesses or by the complainants. Then they can conduct a hearing. Clarify nyo nga ito. What do you mean by this? That is clarificatory hearing. But if you are going to start issuing subpoena to people who are not mentioned in the complaint or who have not submitted any document or affidavit, that is violation already of the provision of the Constitution on trial. Trial na kasi yan eh. So, sabihin mong mini trial, ano mini trial? Pagkakaiba ba yan sa maxi trial or trial? Pareho lang na trial yan. And remember, any incidents or any other action related to trial, which is the sole power of the Senate, and if this is undertaken by the House of Representatives, it is unconstitutional. It is just not unconstitutional, it's also done with grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack of jurisdiction. Nung binasa ko yung answer ad cotellam ni VP Sara, I was so proud of her lawyers. Magaling sila. They know what they are doing. They know their law. They have to answer it, but it's ad cotellam, meaning to say as a precautionary measure without waiving the right to object on anything related to the unconstitutionality of the complaints or the proceedings that will take place in the House. So ngayon, ang ginagawa nitong Committee on Justice, insisting of issuing subpoenas. Meron sila ata silang sinabpina pa na abogado, no? These are all violation. These are all violation of the sole power of the Senate in a trial. No? Hindi naman na ito kasi committee hearing lamang ng in order to what do you call that? Pass a law? No, not anymore. This is a hearing not in aid of legislation, but a committee hearing to determine if there is not just a mere probable cause, but if there are evidence that would warrant the findings of the Committee on Justice to go up to the plenary and for the plenary to decide and then transmit the matter to the Senate. Ganun lang kasimple yung impeachment proceedings. They are trying to complicate things in a way, katulad sinabi ni Attorney Paras, ni Congressman Jing, because sabi nila, Sarsuela ito. Sabi ni Attorney Topacio, kangaroo court. No, don't use kangaroo court. That's going to be an insult with a beautiful kangaroo. I love kangaroo. I've been to Australia many times and they are so beautiful. So don't don't compare the Committee on Justice as a kangaroo court. It's an insult to the kangaroo. Or even they say sinabi, muro-muro lang. No. Don't use again that muro. It's an insult to our Muslim brothers and sisters. No? Hindi pwede. No? Ang ginagawa nila doon sa House of Representatives, purely politica. They would want to put the Vice President in a bad light in the eyes of the public because she is the most trusted, popular public official of the land now, despite all their efforts to destroy her for the past 2 years. Hindi nila mapababa yan yung kanyang trust rating. And, if you read the decisions of the Supreme Court, the 2025 decision, the motion for reconsideration of 2026, klaro, sinabi ng Supreme Court, this impeachment is not only political, it is also legal process. And when you talk of legal process, the main basis of looking at the legality or illegality of the proceeding is what the Constitution provides, because the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, it is the fundamental law of the land, so anything that is contrary to Article 11 in relation to the Bill of Rights is unconstitutional, therefore it is illegal. And what they are doing right now, it is illegal. May nagtanong din sa akin, paano yung subpoena? Pag pinadalhan ka ng subpoena ng Committee on Justice, if they are not going to, if the one that is being addressed to would not attend, can he or she be cited for contempt? Well, for sure gagawin nila yun. Iko-contempt nila yun. Mapapa-aresto pa nila. But would that be a legal action of the House? No. It will be unconstitutional. It will violate due process, the right of that person. Because here, it's no longer just be resource person. Napapatawag mo siya para magbigay ng kanyang opinion, nalalaman niya tungkol sa isang batas na nakabinbin, panukala na nakabinbin, in order to be passed by the committee. Ito hindi na Itong Committee on Justice here is acting not just a mere committee of the House that is going to pass pieces of legislation, but eventually it will become the body that will prosecute these impeachment proceedings in the House. So tama rin yung sinasabi na it is similar to the preliminary investigation or inquest proceedings. Then so submitted yan. Sige, I admit. Similar, but it's not the same. But you cannot go beyond what is allowed and authorized in a preliminary investigation or inquest proceedings. Because going beyond that would be violation of the Constitution. So yun lamang po yung aking maikling paliwanag po sa inyo.
Thank you very much. Now I know why Freddy is a good lawyer. he has a brilliant mentor. And I'm glad, and I'm also glad, Freddie, that you have this press conference because, in my opinion, this is the best press conference na nilinaw kung ganong kalabo ang ginagawa ng Congress. Maraming salamat. Okay, as your moderator, let me first ask 2 questions before I call the media. Number 1, how long will this, well, I don't want you to more. How long will this committee last in the lower house? And how much is it costing us, taxpayers? May gastos yan di ba? Hindi man okay.
I'll answer that. Well, as far as the timeline, depende na yun sa gusto nilang ma-obtain eh. Depende na yun kung gaano gusto nilang kahaba. But insofar as the cost, if they are going to continue doing this, it could go beyond 125 million. Mas malaki kaysa sa doon sa kanilang gustong palabasin na confidential fund. No. For sure, we are spending millions here of taxpayers' money of those, anong tawag mo doon? Anong tawag mo doon? Stupid? Okay. So, yun ang mangyayari dyan.
My second question is this. Is it possible na hindi aabot to sa Senate for lack of merit?
That is a probability, not just a possibility. Because, as I've said, the proceeding in the House against the Vice President is void ab initio. Nakita nyo naman nangyari doon sa unang kaso. It was declared void ab initio at hindi na natuloy yung trial sa Senado. That's a probability. At dito, mas matindi ang violations. Grave, abuse of discretion of unprecedented character. Sabi ko nga, nadismaya kami ni Perdi, ni Attorney Jing Paras, and of course, Attorney Topacio and Jimmy. We have been witnesses and participants to many impeachment proceedings. Ngayon lang nangyari ito na merong ganyan. They are inventing their own rules na hindi nila pinasa, hindi pinablish. Yung mini-trial na yan, there's no such thing. Not even in the United States and Britain where impeachment originated. Iniimbento ni Congressman Luis to yan. Ang sagwa nakakahiya because the House should have performed its duty in obedience to the Constitution. Hindi sila mas mataas Tapos ngayon, they are usurping the power of the Senate. Di ba? Napakapangit tingnan. And where is the prioritization there? Ano bang importante? Itong ginagawa nila kay BP Sara o yung ekonomiya natin ngayon na is already in an emergency situation? Parang there's a wrong prioritization here. So, I question because I'm a citizen and I'm a voter and has witnessed for myself lahat ng impeachments na recently meron. Wala, sa Davide, I was just a plain observer. Pero sa Sereno, Bautista, I was the lawyer of the 2 distinguished gentlemen here, Attorney Topacio and Attorney Jing Paras. We impeach Bautista. Kahit na nung umpisa, nag-violate din yung House Committee on Justice sa kanilang rules and the Constitution. But, sinave ng plenary by a very overwhelming vote at na-impeach si Bautista. Hindi siya umabot sa Senado kasi impeach and then he resigned. Naging moot and academic. But I tell you, nakakadismaya ang ginagawa ng House Committee on Justice. And the Supreme Court might probably, hindi ako sigurado because I cannot preempt, might probably issue a TRO here and declare the proceeding void ab initio. Salamat.
Okay, I open now the floor. O sige, please attend. Quickly lang mabilis.
Red Mendoza from the Manila Times. Of course, hi, good afternoon, good morning po. Well, ngayon po sinasabi po ni Congressman Laila De Lima na ang hindi pagpunta ni VP Sara sa impeachment trial ay parang pagbaliwala daw sa Constitution. And of course, sinabi rin ni Congressman Beatrix Luistro na sa kanyang distrito daw sa Batangas, suportado daw yung impeachment. What's your take po doon sa mga sinasabi ng ating mga kagalang-galang ng mga congressman?
Ano?
Well, hello?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, with your respect, kasi I'm also a member of Congress, but during our time, respectable po kami. And honorable. Wala po kaming mga maleta noon. Ano lang. Envelope. Sobre lang. But no, to answer that, walang basihan yon. Kasi unang-una, wala namang eleksyon. So paano niya ma-test yung support ng kanyang taong bayan? Pero if you base it on the survey ng Pulse Asia, even in Luzon, napakataas ang trust rating ni Vice President. So it's her word against a very official and legitimate survey. So, pangalawa po, sinasabi natin na itong sinasabi ng mga congressmen is purely political. Why? I can vouch for it in the sense that nag-file po kami ng impeachment. Nag-file ang bayan muna, nag-file yung sinasabi naming hash-hash na impeachment. Pero yung rules na pinairal nila against Marcos is entirely different than the rules that they're imposing on the impeachment of VP Sara. Doon pa lang, politika na ang umiiral. Ha? Doon, nag-trial na o nag-hearing na sila at inaano na nila doon pa lang sa determination of substance as far as the Marcos impeachment in concern. Pero dito kay VP Sara, talagang pinalusot na nila yung substance. Because at the end of the day, they want to maximize the propaganda value of the Vice President. Why? For one reason. She will become the next president. And ito lahat ay takot na takot dahil sa daming mga maleta na tinanggap nila. They are thinking that there will be a serious investigation come the presidency of the Vice President. Yun po ang tinatakot. Kaya dito pa lang, papatayin nila. Pero ako, confident ako na hindi basta-basta, itong nasa Committee on Justice mukhang ayos na yan eh. Ayos na yan. And there are people there na talagang they cannot accept the Dutertes. Unang-una, ito si Ridon. Bakit siya is in the forefront of all this? For vengeance. Kasi pahiyang-pahiya yung kumag na yan dahil sa sinipa siya ni Duterte for being a stupid and, irresponsible head of an office. Can you imagine he was traveling every month, on the basis daw na mayroon siyang doon? Nagsasaksya siyang ng pera pero yung kanyang liderato ay urban poor. So, ginagastos niya yung pera para sa urban poor. Kaya, outright, sinipa siya ni President Duterte. So, hindi niya matanggap yon kaya gusto niyang bumawi to the extent na magpapasupina siya ng mga records ng mga bangko at saka mga lawyers firm. Sinita na nga siya ni Congressman Rodriguez na mali-mali yon. There is a client lawyer's privilege. So, hindi ko alam kung nakakahiya naman sa UP College of Law, nanggaling pa ito doon. Now, with due respect, kaibigan ko ito, pero nag-iiba ang ihip ng hangin eh. Ito si Redon, it's all vengeance. Si De Lima, vengeance din yan eh. Kasi biniblame niya si Freddy Topacio nung sa BACC at si Bit Aguirre na nag-file sa kanya ng kaso. Which was, kung hindi lang nagbago ang administration, baka nasa kulungan pa yung magandang Laila Junil de Dayan na babae. So, ito po lahat in answer as a parting word. Ito po ay pamulitika lahat. Now, if it's politics, wala, in violation of the Constitution because in the ruling of the Supreme Court, there must be, the Supreme Court admitted that it is political, but it is also legal. But this Committee on Justice is all purely political lang lahat. Walang legal, kaya they violate the Constitution. And I suppose, I will not be, I would not presume na hindi gumagalaw ang mga abogado ni Vice President to question all this in the court. Itong lahat ng mga violation. And in fact, I believe that if there is an immediate action, they can get an injunction or restraining order in all this violation of the House of Representatives.
Thank you. Okay,
Yan po.
next.
Okay, dagdag ko lang Manong Rod, excuse me, sorry
sige,
to
quickly.
interrupt. Dagdag ko lang, that is another example of the hypocrisy of these people. Si Laila de Lima, noong inimbestigahan yan sa bilibid drug trade, hindi rin siya pumunta eh. She exercised her prerogative not to be present during the hearings. Bago sasabihin ngayon ni de Lima na it should be taken against the Vice President. Kanyang ka-hipokrito itong mga taong ito. Doon sa hearing, doon lumabas yung, Committee on Justice din yun eh. Di ba? Ewan ko kung may ibang committee roon na parang on dangerous drugs yata, I don't know. Pero doon lahat lumabas yung alegasyon. Hindi siya pumunta. She did not rebut yung sinasabi na nagsusubuan sila ng saba ni Dayan. Ba't hindi siya pumunta roon? Sinabi niya, hindi saba, latundan. Ibig sabihin, just to underscore the fact na hindi niya ginagamit yung sinasabi niya sa sarili niya. Hindi siya pumunta roon. And the committee respected that. Na hindi siya pumunta. Wala naman sinabi laban sa kanya. Hindi rin pumunta yung mga abogado niya. Bakit yun? Sinasabi niya, pag hindi ka pumunta against the Constitution, hindi ba? Ang hearings in aid of legislation na nasa Constitution din? Eh, ba't hindi niya sinabi sa sarili niya yun? So, that is how hypocritical, how Janus-faced these people are. Doble cara talaga, grabe.
Attorney, first, papapikit tuloy si Attorney Bondok sa mga sinasabi mo. But anyway, Congressman Paras, from your end po, do you intend to file this before the Supreme Court? Kasi kinanong namin kahapon ng defense team. Too early to say, but that remains to be an option. But from your end po,
I think, as a lawyer, no, and I would presume that the hired lawyers of the Vice President, they are actually monitoring all these things. And in my short conversation here with Attorney Bondok, we are in the same mindset that there must be an immediate action. There must be a monitoring because what they are now doing, the Committee on Justice, araw-araw they violate the Constitution. And they should be restrained from further violating and trampling the Constitution. Kasi mali-mali. Walang mini trial na nakalagay sa ating saligang batas.
that's why, sir, sa end or sa part niyo po, sir, are we expecting any action?
Yeah.
Magpa-file kayo sa...
I would like to clearly state this for the record. We have not been tasked by anyone to challenge this before the Supreme Court or before any pertinent body. However, as an academic exercise, ako na po ang umaamin sa inyo, as an academic exercise and in the interest of our nation, no? Ako po mismo ay naghanda na ng bullet point argument ready. No, is a very it is a kung sila may mini trial, kami may mini draft. No? Meron kaming mini draft. What? No, but do you know why? Because lahat naman po tayo gusto natin maging handa. But the reason why I wrote it kaagad, we wrote it, no? Kami ni Attorney Bobe, is because it was too easy to write. It was too easy because the violations are too blatant. Kaya po nangyayari to as a last statement, no? Kasi po, bagamat hindi sufficient in substance and in form sa aming palagay yung mga sinabmit. Ang problema po, yung mga nasa upo ang mga sufficient in substance abuse. No? Sila yung sufficient in substance abuse. Kaya ako po, sana mag-ingat sila kasi baka mahirap yung substance abuse kasi baka mag-sufficient in formalin sila pagdating ng ending, no?
So you'll be filing it, Attorney Bondok, anytime soon?
Let me clarify. We have not been tasked by anyone. Ginawa po namin to in the interest of justice. Taus-puso po yan. Kasi po, based on their public pronouncements pa lang, it is so easy already to rebut all of their allegations.
Well, let me answer that from the legal standpoint. No? Importante kasi na maintindihan ninyo, pag nag-file kayo ng petition, that you have a personality to file or the outcome of your petition, whether it's going to be granted or dismissed, would affect your right as a taxpayer, as a citizen, as a voter. I mentioned a while ago, while I am here today, not just being a lawyer to give my little knowledge or opinion on the matter, but because I am a voter, whether I voted for Marcos or Duterte in the last election, he is or she is now the duly elected president of the Philippines, and therefore she represents me also as my vice president. And if you are going to remove her, I will be deprived of my right being represented by a vice president. So, do I have the legal personality to file a suit? Yes. Because I am a party in interest. Sabi ko nga, hindi lamang dahil siya lang ang ma-impeach dito, siya lamang ang pwedeng mag-file dito. It's a different ballgame pag pinag-usapan natin dito. Mga appointed officials who will be subject for impeachment like justices of the Supreme Court, member of the Constitutional Commission, or ombudsman. Because they are not elected by the people. Pero ang presidente at saka vice president, elected sila ng tao. And as a voter, no, I will be deprived of my sovereign rights kung matatanggal ang isang tao na inelect ng mamamayang Pilipino. So anyone can file, yun ang aking opinion. This is my opinion, the proper petition before the Supreme Court if needed. Kaya nga, ino-obserbahan ko yung nangyayaring proceedings magmula pa nung discussion nila about sufficiency of form, sufficiency of substance, tapos itong ginagawa nilang supposed to be committee hearing, and then yung kanilang mga pronouncements na mini trial, ito akin. So sabi ko, oh my God, this is already a violation of the Constitution, what they are doing. And therefore, under the provision of the Constitution, more particularly Article 8, for that matter, on the judiciary, may nakalagay doon na yung isang provision about the petition for certiorari questioning the constitutionality of an action amounting to lack of jurisdiction. Not necessarily similar to the provision of Rule 65 of the Rules of Court. Because sa ating saligang batas, meron yung provision na pwedeng magamit. So if you are going to ask me, will you file the necessary petition? I have to think it over after they have concluded all their actions in the House of Representatives. But for now, tulad ni Attorney Bundok, marami na siyang mga bullet points na ginawa nila ni Attorney Torion. Easy to write, sabi nga ni Attorney Bundok. Sabi ko, I don't even need to write. I can already remember everything they are doing because they are so simple. Too easy. No, you cannot forget that. No, unlike a complicated case na kailangan mo talagang use the weapon of your pen or your computer. But what they are doing now, kung nakalimutan mo ng konti, punta ka sa YouTube, tingnan mo lang yung mga nangyari doon. You would easily remember. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Lubino. I think you said it very profoundly. On trial here pala is the majority of the voters who voted for VP Sara. Sila ang on trial. Tayo mga bumoto are on trial. That's a very important, a very profound statement. Okay.
Good morning po sa inyo. Sa mga pinaliwanag niyo po kanina, narinig ng marami at sa tingin ko, sangayon sila na napakalinaw ng paliwanag ko ninyo kasi marami sa mga Pilipino hindi naman intindido sa batas yung karamihan. Ngayon, ang sa akin po, ang gusto ko ipunto rito, hindi puntong legal, kundi yung moral. Kasi po, sabi nga ni Congressman Paras, yung mga buhaya, mga stupidly stupid sila, sinasang-ayon naman po sa tingin ko ng marami kasi nakita naman natin kung paano silang tawagin, honorable, kagalang-galang. Pero ang nakikita po natin ngayon, yung tanong ko po papunta rito sa direksyon. Nakikita po natin na ang dami ng isyung lumutang. Magmula rin sa PDIC, PhilHealth, Maharlika Fund, hanggang doon sa mga, yung 18 Marines, yung mga malay-maleta. Pero prior to that, nagkaroon ho ng malaking issue tungkol sa pagiging drug addict ng ating presidente na nung huli, nagsalita yung ating senador, Amy Marcos, na mismong kapatid niya. Sa akin pong paniwala, personal, napakalaking issue ho niya ng moral. Biruin nyo kung iisipin nyo kung totoo na ang presidente addict. Ito po yung tanong ko. Sa tingin po ba ninyo, dahil sa dami ng mga mali-maletang napawalan, marami nang natatakpan ng bibig at nasusuhulan at hindi na makakibo, paano ho ba ang magandang remedyo natin gagawin pa?
Can I answer that? Ako muna, Kong Jing. Alam nyo yung third impeachment namin ni Congressman Jing, Attorney Topacio, and the others, Mike Defensor and the others. Merong ground doon on the alleged drug addiction of the President. Kaya nga hindi tinanggap yung aming complaint ng House Committee Secretary General, House Secretary General, dahil siguro takot sila dyan sa ground na yan Saka yung plunder, isa sa mga grounds yan Moral yan. Hindi lang legal, constitutional, but moral. Kaya takot sila pag moral ang issue Now, itong maleta, andon din yan, yung plunder, which we cited Gutesa and Saldico, na pinatotohanan ngayon ng 18 sundalo. So you see, we have done our part. Congressman Jing, we have done our part. Attorney Topacio, we have done our part. Ang problema, ang House, they have to answer itong maleta issue because Congressman Suntay raised that issue sa Committee on Justice. Kaya doon, pinarule siya ng out of order. Pero tama yun Because baka ito, yung galaw nila ngayon ay they are prejudiced and biased against the Vice President because may link doon. I'm not saying that they're guilty, pero we raised that.
Well, we have the same mind. Sinabi na niya, pero I'll just add, Yung lahat na sinabi niyo po, with your question, ni-raise na po namin yan lahat na issue. That's why we filed an impeachment complaint. Pero, dirty trick kami ng House. Unang-una, they made it sure na yung magtatanggap ay absent, nagbakasyon daw sa Taiwan. Yung kasunod niya, yung deputy, was also told not to accept it. In fact, did we file a case already to this guy? Itong si attorney, We're contemplating on filing a case against yung deputy, si Salonga. Kasi, hindi siya nagtanggap nung impeachment complaint namin. Had it been na tinanggap nila yon, napakalawak po yung akusasyon namin dito sa, ano ba tawag nila dito kay Marcos? Bangag na Pangulo? Yeah. So, mayroon po talaga na complaint kami citing all ng mga lahat ng kabulastugan ni Marcos Jr. po. Pero ang inintindi nila yung kay BP Sara. Pero doon sa complaint against Marcos na pinahil ng bayan muna na mayroon naman ding laman, wala daw substance. So, yun po ang imbalance. Yun po ang tinatawag nating pamulitika lamang. To protect Marcos, who is being accused of so many crimes by Saldico, by the 18 Marines, versus an allegation na pinagwala ng base ng COA against the Vice President na napaka-pranggot lang 125 million versus billions of billions na sinasabi ni Saldico na tinanggap ni Marcos Jr. Yun po.
Thank you. Okay,
Nga pala, may naalala lang ako.
Yeah,
Ang
please.
tawag na pala ng ibang tao kay Representative Luistro is representative necessity. Because necessity knows no law.
Okay. Bago natin makalimutan yung issue ng confidential funds, 125 million yung tapos another 600 million yata yung sinasabi, di ba? Yes. Immaterial yung sa DepEd, dahil hindi naman impeachable official yung Secretary of Education. Anyway, pag pinag-usapan natin na ang basis lamang po nila ay yung notice of disallowance sa COA as evidence, naku po, pag yun po ay tatanggaping ebidensya, karaming makukulong na mga cabinet officials o kaya pati sa presidente dahil hindi pa nila na-account yung kanilang mga confidential funds or kaya mga notice of disallowances yan. Billions yan. Pumunta ka sa yung website ng COA. Every department, every year, marami silang mga hindi pa naliliquidate. But it doesn't mean na meron ng krimen na nangyari. So, ang daming mga unliquidated dyan. So, walang basing. At tapos, ewan ko, meron akong nakita sa Facebook na ginamit nilang ebidensya. Inilabas na raw nila si Piatos na ebidensya doon sa house, di ba? Pero, maglalabas din kami ng Piatos dito, kainin natin, ha? Hindi ito ebidensya. Merienda kasi, pandesal lang yung binibigay nila sa kamuning, eh.
Okay.
Ito.
Okay. Levity aside, okay.
Kainin natin to.
Freddy,
Yeah.
with your permission, I want to change the subject, no? Because the economy is a very big problem now because of the oil crisis. Binigyan ng Presidente ng emergency power. Okay, anong inyong recommendation sa Presidente? O how to address the oil crisis?
Well, unang-una, there's no need for an emergency power. Kasi, nasa poder na ng Pangulo yan to address the crisis on oil. In fact, yung kanyang Secretary of Energy has already said na may mga kausap na kami, na may mga supply na, baka may ibang purpose ito. Mayroong mga iba na namang maniobra ito si Marcos. Alam mo, he always have so many dirty tricks in his kilikili. So, these are all alibis na Kaya na-alarm ang mga tao. Unang-una, this is too late. Because nung una pa lang na pumutok yung gera, reverberating effect na kagad yung mawawalan tayo ng oil. Pero sinasabi ni Marcos, 60 days ang reserve natin. Bakit wala pang 30 days nagtaasan na ang mga presyo? So, napaka-handpick niya na Pangulo, hindi niya na-address yung pagsamantala ng mga oil suppliers, yung downstream. Minsan, ako, per my personal experience, pumunta ako sa isang gas station. Isa lang yung gas station ko, parang tinatago ng mga gas station na ma-dispense ka agad yung kanilang stock, hoping to have a windfall. But walang action ang Department of Energy. Walang nakulong, walang nasampahan ng kaso dito sa mga businessmen na mga nagsamantala. So, hindi na kailangan ng emergency. Hinuli na dapat niya kung siya ay talagang competent na Pangulo. Pero he's just so incompetent that he has to devise an alibi through issuance of an emergency executive order, which can be done by the existing laws already.
Thank you. Okay. Go ahead, please.
Medyo naiintindihan ko ng konti yung negosyong oil and gas. Bilang isang abogado, may mga clients tayo who are involved in this industry, both as importers of oil and gas products and also retailers. It's an issue of supply and demand kasi yan eh. Let's face it, maraming mga na-damage ng infrastructure sa Middle East, oil refineries at that. And of course, the problem in Persian Gulf and Gulf of Aden, in between that is the so-called Strait of Hormuz. That then dumadaan yung more than 20% of oil coming from the Middle East. And then the other area is yung tinatawag ng Suez Gulf and the Red Sea going to the Gulf of Aden patungo sa Indian Ocean. Meron din isang strait dyan, yung Bab el-Mandab or Strait of Mandab, na mas makipot yun kaysa sa Strait of Hormuz. Kaya dito sa Arabian Peninsula, andyan yung Yemen, yung Houthi. Yan ang kanilang binabantayan din. Baka magsarado yan pag sumama yung Houthi dito sa gulo. So dalawang areas yung maapektuhan yan. Strait of Hormuz, that is the body between Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Aden going to the Arabian Sea back to the Indian Ocean. Saka yung isa, yung Strait of Mandab, yung Bab el-Mandab. Nakakatakot yung mga situations na yan. Pero ngayon, sabi ng Amerika, okay, na yung kanilang naval vessels, they would even have to escort yung mga tankers na manggagaling sa Persian Gulf o manggagaling sa Red Sea, papalabas ng Arabian Sea going to Indian Ocean para makarating yung langis going to Asia. Okay? Alam po ninyo, ang problema ay yung mga may-ari ng barko. Marami pag-supply na nasa Middle East. Pero yung mga may-ari ng barko, mga oil tankers, ayaw nilang papuntahin yung kanilang mga barko kasi masyadong risky. At ang Lloyd's of London, which is the biggest insurance company na nagbibigay ng napakalaking cover for ships, maritime insurance, ayaw mag-issue ng insurance. Pag ayaw mag-issue ng insurance yan, siyempre yung mga may-ari ng barko, ayaw nilang payagan yung mga barko nila. So ang ginawa ng Amerika ngayon, using the powers of Trump, they have allowed the use of what we call the Development Finance Corporation funds. Nagtalaga sila ng $20 billion to cover what Lloyd's of London will not cover. Kaya meron ng mga ships, ng commercial ships, na maglalayag sila going to the Persian Gulf, going to the Red Sea, para magdala ng langis dito sa atin, sa Asia. Pag tumagal pa itong kaguluhan na ito, for another 30 days, let's face the reality. Talaga pong wala nang darating ng oil supply dito sa atin. But for now, pag pananiwalaan natin sinasabi ng Department of Energy that we have sufficient supply available here, yes. Siyempre, hindi mo maiiwasan doon sa mga negosyante dito, mga retailers at sa mga oil importer that anticipating their loss of profit in the next weeks to come, magtaas na sila ng presyo ngayon. It's not hoarding, but they are going to really anticipate yung losses nila mangyayari. Kaya yung diesel ngayon is more than 120 pesos per liter na yata kung hindi ako nagkakamali. You expect na tataas pa ito. And ito nga naman ang maganda. USA. Pero merong nagsasabi, hindi ba ang may pinakamalaking mga refineries dito sa Asia ngayon is China? And China has one of the biggest strategic oil reserve in the world. Maybe after America, China ang may pinakamalaking strategic reserve. Because they bought millions and millions and millions of oil in the past 20 years. And they have established several strategic oil reserve in different areas in China. Tapos ito, nag-usap na po ang ating Department of Energy with the Chinese Embassy. And they have discussed the possibility for China to at least share some of its oil products going to the Philippines. Pinag-uusapan na in the same manner na nagkaroon na ng pag-uusap yung dalawang ahensya natin, Department of Foreign Affairs at saka Ministry of Foreign Affairs in China, at pinag-uusapan na rin yung possible joint exploration in the West Philippine Sea. Nag-uusap na rin yung ambassador ng China na nandito, si Jing Chan, at saka si Secretary Laurel ng Department of Agriculture on the continuous supply of fertilizers from China going to the Philippines. Kasi ang China pa rin ang may pinakamalaking source ng chemical fertilizer. So this is not just an issue of oil supply or oil price, but even food security. And mind you, I know this kasi alam nyo naman, ako ang chairman ng Association for Philippines-China Understanding. I've been involved in so many affairs pagdating po doon sa people-to-people exchange, educational exchange, cultural exchanges, pagpapadala ng media na gustong pagpunta sa China, things like that. And I'm quite familiar with how the discussions are being done by our government. Nasa ano na ang discussion between the Philippine government and the Chinese government, and this is not confidential. It is already on the level of undersecretary. nasa undersecretary level. Tapos na doon sa mga assistant secretary level. Tumas na yung level, which is good. You know, for almost 2 years, hindi nag-uusap ang China at saka Pilipinas. The past 2 years, dito lang nag-umpisa yung usapan. And good for us, kasi ini-entertain pa rin tayo ng China. They have all their power na magsuplado sila sa atin at sabihin, ayaw namin kayong kausap. Medyo inaano nyo kami masyado. Xenophobia, tapos nangyayari dyan, pinapalaki yung maliit na issue dyan sa West Philippines, etc. But thankfully, nag-uusap na ngayon ang ating Department of Foreign Affairs under the leadership of Secretary Lazaro and yung representative din ng Ministry of Foreign Affairs in China. And they are now in this higher level. So hopefully, within the month of March or April, baka makarating na sa ministerial level yung usapan. At pag nangyari po yan, I think China would be willing to give us some of their oil products and fertilizer products.
Wow, that's good news. Good news. Okay.
At dyan nagtatapos ang usapan natin ngayon. Kung may gusto kang idagdag o reaksyon, i-comment mo lang sa baba. Boses mo'y mahalaga. Huwag kalimutang i-like, share, at subscribe para sama-sama nating palakasin ang tinig ng bayan. Hanggang sa susunod, tandaan, ang may alam, may laban!
Awesome!